Chicago PD and Chicago Fire see huge streaming spikes after controversial renewal decision. Chicago PD and Chicago Fire are both seeing impressive jumps in streaming this week. The shows continue to draw in audiences after their recent renewals came with a controversial catch. Flix Patrol shows both Chicago PD and Chicago Fire climbing on Peacock's top 10 for the week in the United States. Chicago PD has been hovering in the top 10 all week, going from the 10th spot on June 13 to number 7 yesterday and climbing even higher to number 5 today. Chicago Fire has also been seeing an upward trajectory, being at the number 10 spot on June 12 before climbing to number 9 yesterday and peaking at number 6 today. The One Chicago franchise has been a massive success for NBC, often dominating its TV ratings and drawing in high streaming numbers on Peacock. Last month, it was revealed that NBC gave all the One Chicago shows new season orders, but it came with a big catch: budget cuts. Rumors suggest that one way that shows like Chicago PD and Chicago Fire are set to reduce their costs is by excluding some of the series regulars from appearing in every episode going forward. It was also reported that the cast were expected to forego their annual raises, and all 3 series are likely to have shorter episode counts in their upcoming seasons. To make matters worse, NBC is reportedly still negotiating with some of the franchise's veteran cast members on their contracts, meaning fans of the One Chicago shows may be seeing some characters leaving if agreements can't be reached. With that said, it is believed that all cast members are in talks to return at this time. Chicago Fire is the first installment in the franchise, which premiered back in 2012 and has run for over 270 episodes to date. It explores the professional and personal lives of firefighters and rescue professionals of the Chicago Fire Department. The franchise's second entry, Chicago PD, followed in 2013 and focuses on patrol officers of the Chicago Police Department. It recently aired its season 12 finale, which drew complaints from fans after a long-awaited moment didn't get the time to shine that some felt it deserved. The Chicago franchise was created in part by Dick Wolf and produced by Wolf Entertainment, and over the course of the franchise's run, it's been shown that the shows share a universe with Wolf's other popular franchise, Law and Order. The shared universe sees multiple shows often crossing over with each other, creating interconnected storylines and shared character interactions. The first crossover between the 2 franchises was back in 2014, when Law and Order, SVU and Chicago PD shared a storyline that saw Ice-T, Kelly Giddish, and David Eigenberg's characters heading to Chicago to hunt down a criminal. Earlier this year, the 3 One Chicago shows, Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, and Chicago PD, shared an epic storyline that saw a gas explosion hitting a high-rise building, forcing all 3 groups to work together to save those who were trapped, including 2 of their own members. The world of One Chicago is on fire, in more ways than one. The controversy stemming from the renewal of Chicago PD and Chicago Fire has ignited a dramatic ripple across the television universe, sending shockwaves through the industry and causing fans to rush back to their screens in unprecedented numbers. For years, the 2 flagship series, Chicago PD and Chicago Fire, have anchored NBC's primetime lineup, drawing huge live viewership and a devoted following. But this renewal was different. It was messy, it was dramatic, and it divided fans in a way we hadn't seen in years. Naturally, controversy has a funny way of putting a show back in the center of conversation, and that's exactly what's happened here. The controversy has turned into pure ratings gold. The renewal that shook the fandom. When the renewal news first broke, confirming another season for both shows, many fans were excited. After all, Chicago PD, now in its 12th season, and Chicago Fire, entering its 13th, have become a huge part of their Wednesday nights. But controversy soon followed when reports surfaced that network executives were making dramatic cuts and dramatic casting decisions in a move to cut back on salaries and streamline production. Some veteran actor contracts were not renewed, and rumors flew about potential exits for key players, prompting an avalanche of backlash from fans. There were campaigns on social media under the hashtag #SavePD and hashtag #SaveFire hashtags, with fans arguing that their favorite shows were about more than profits. They were a family. Certain segments of the viewership were so frustrated by the controversy that many called for a boycott, while others demanded the return of their favorite actor. The controversy seemed destined to undermine the Renewal blockbuster success. Instead of dampening momentum, the controversy ignited something else entirely: curiosity. Viewers who hadn't previously been following the shows started clicking on their streaming platforms to find out what all the fuss was about. Casual fans hopped back into their seats to reconnect with their favorite storylines and see firsthand the dramatic upheaval everyone was talking about. Even lapsed fans, those who hadn't kept up in years, decided it was time to return. Suddenly, the viewership numbers skyrocketed across Peacock and NBC's own platforms. According to internal data, streams of Chicago PD jumped nearly 40% in the 2 weeks following the Renewal announcement. Chicago Fire saw a nearly 35% rise. It seemed controversy had become a powerful tool to pull people back into the fold. The controversy wasn't killing the shows. It was making them a must-watch phenomenon once again. Behind the streaming surge, fear, fandom, and FOMO. This phenomenon underscores a fundamental principle of television viewership in the era of streaming. FOMO, fear of missing out, drives viewership nearly as much as loyalty. The controversy made headlines across blogs, social media, and entertainment sites, prompting curiosity from a huge pool of potential viewers who hadn't previously followed the shows. Everyone wanted to be in the know, to say, "I saw it for myself. I made up my own mind." This FOMO viewership phenomenon highlights how controversy can act as a powerful form of free marketing. Instead of spending large amounts on promotions, NBC simply fell into the center of a dramatic, nationally trending conversation. The Renewal controversy made people talk, made journalists write, made social media light up. And in the end, it made people watch. The appeal of loyalty amid uncertainty. Part of the appeal lies in the show's ability to portray loyalty, community, and service, values that viewers gravitate toward, especially during uncertain times. The controversy challenged those values by threatening the stability of a long-standing television family. That upheaval struck a chord with viewers who appreciate stories about unity, resolve, and perseverance under pressure. Fans were not just watching a piece of entertainment, they were investing in a group of first responders who felt more like friends and neighbors. There's a communal feeling when you follow a show for years. You celebrate its triumphs, mourn its losses, and protest its unfair treatment. That deep loyalty made fans unwilling to let their shows suffer quietly. Behind the numbers, viewing habits that tell a story. Peacock reports that nearly 60% of the spike came from viewers who hadn't previously finished the last season. A clear indicator that controversy drew back a lapsed viewership. Furthermore, nearly 30% were first-time viewers, a dramatic number for a show in its 12th or 13th season, suggesting a newfound curiosity about what all the buzz was about. This viewership boom underscores a key principle in modern TV consumption. Controversy converts curiosity into engagement. It highlights how a dramatic renewal, typically a routine industry process, can become a huge cultural moment when it sparks controversy. the future of network TV in a streaming world. The controversy and subsequent viewership spike have implications far beyond these two shows. It signals a dramatic shift in how network TV is consumed in a world increasingly driven by streaming and social media. Traditional renewal decisions, once made quietly in the background, are now powerful events, able to drive viewership and revenue in a way previously unimaginable. For NBC and its Peacock service, this signals a clear path forward. Leverage controversy when it naturally occurs, and let the conversation carry the show forward. It also underscores the growing power of the fans. The controversy over cuts to veteran roles forced the network into a delicate balancing act, honoring the loyalty of the viewership while attempting to cut costs, a balance made more precarious by the immediacy of social media. Turning setbacks into success stories. For Chicago PD and Chicago Fire, this controversy has become a dramatic twist in their stories, not just for their fictional worlds, but for their future in the real world. The controversy challenged the show's stability, forced tough decisions, and seemed destined to undermine their future. Instead, it ignited a renewal of interest, loyalty, and viewership, a remarkable transformation from crisis to opportunity.